I'm sure you've seen it a million times, either on the telly or on YouTube. You know, beautiful images of incredible starling murmurations. That's the collective noun for a group of starlings, and it's true. They're really, really incredible. They're a visual feast, aren't they, Dad?
Yes,
absolutely.
Veritable banquet.
Yes, I completely agree. But, as many an evolutionary biologist has once said, a spectacle of such beauty can only become more beautiful if you understand the science behind it. I want to investigate why, evolutionarily speaking, starlings aggregate in such incredible flocks. It's an incredible spectacle, and naturally it's going to attract quite a lot of people as well, which means it's going to be a little bit difficult to present, to be honest. Not that I'm a shy person, but I don't want to disturb. I feel like my voice, my subtle tones will ruin the spectacle a little bit, don't you? I mean, you can be honest,
no,
Dad.
I don't think so. No,
don't fall over either. But at the end of the day, the aim of this channel is to combine my two loves, and that's science and natural history. So, tough. You're going to have to cope with my subtle tones, whether you like it or not.
What about me if you're a third love?
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, and John Wayne, right?
Oh, thanks for that.
Now, the reed beds where the starlings are going to be roosting are just over there. It's all very exciting, and this is a close-up view of a reed. Oh, we don't have to treat you. But what's interesting is that there's a bit of a hierarchy going on, because if you're a starling going to sleep in a reed bed, you don't really want to be a starling right at the bottom of the reed bed. Because why? Well, it's because you get pooed on by all the individuals that are on top. So what you tend to get is highly dominant males at the top of the reed bed, living the life of Riley. But then as you go further down, you get kind of dominant females and subordinate adults, and then juveniles as you go further down. So there definitely seems to be some sort of organisation going on, which I think is rather clever. But in the meantime, I think it's time we set off.
So there's a real sort of jockeying for the top of the poo chain.
Yes.
And it certainly wasn't long before one of the countryside's largest aggregations of birdwatchers turned up to what was an absolutely spectacular performance.
Now, living in groups is clearly not just a good idea for starlings. In fact, Otmore also provides home to huge overwintering flocks of widgeon, lapwing and various geese species. But the question is, are these animals doing it for the same reasons? And why do starlings feel the need to aggregate in such exaggerated numbers? But luckily, science is on our side.
For large groups of wildfowl which spend an awful lot of time on the ground, I suspect the main benefit to group living is down to two reasons. The first one being vigilance. Basically, the more eyes you have, the greater chance you have of spotting a predator. And the second is something called the dilution effect, and that's all based on probability. Basically, the larger the group you have, the chance or the probability of you being the one on the menu is reduced. Sounds a bit cynical when you put it like that. But for the starlings and their amazing aerial acrobatics, it seems like something else is going on. And that something else is something called the confusion effect. Now, the confusion effect is all about group behaviours that make it difficult for a predator to pinpoint an individual prey item. You see, with the starlings, it's not just about group size. For the starlings, it's the density of their aggregations as well as the unpredictability of their movements, which is going to make it difficult for a predator to single out an individual from the group. I mean, you try it, it's pretty difficult, right? Especially for something like a peregrine falcon, which relies heavily on accuracy in its attacks. And believe it or not, this has now been scientifically shown, not with real starlings in the wild, but with simulations of starling flocks, which have been shown to human participants on computer screens.
Wow, well those starlings certainly didn't disappoint, did they, Dad?
No, they certainly didn't. There's something about coming out to see Britain's greatest wildlife spectacle on a winter's afternoon that's so...
Exhilarating?
No,
Awe-inspiring?
no,
Mind-blowing?
no, bloody freezing!
Let it go, I am one with the wind and sky.
So instead, we're gonna go there, mouth shut, appreciate it, but hopefully... what am I saying? It's time to see oh god, I'll start that again. I'm just gonna blag it and see what happens.
Oh, it's filming.